This is Christopher Moldong of Chris's Storytelling Corner. Today I'm going to do a movie review for the 2017 anime film Fireworks. Next time I'll have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 25 and 26, a book review for A Hero Born, Legends of the Condor Heroes Volume 1, and a movie review for Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Check out my Twitter page and author's Facebook page. Links to all these will be provided on the description. I'd also really like to hear from you guys as well, so leave any comments and make sure to subscribe and share this channel as well. So, the way that this is going to work is that I'm going to give a detailed recap of the movie Fireworks, and then I'll give my thoughts on the movie, which includes like the plot and like the characters and whatnot. Um, as far as an initial grade goes, I'm leaning towards like a C plus, like a B minus. Um, it's really tough to recommend to watch it in theaters. Visually speak, for if you're a fan of like anime movies, I would. It's just you don't always get to see anime movies like in theaters, so just on that aspect alone, and it is actually really nicely animated too. Voice acting and animation's really good. Um, so I mean, if you're a fan of just like anime in general and whatnot, I would recommend it. As far as like getting into like, I mean, this isn't the movie to get into anime with. That's pretty much what I'll say. If you're not a fan of the platform of anime. I can't really say it would be that appealing. I just can't see it. But I'll get more into it in my thoughts. So let's recap the movie Fireworks. So in the town of Moshimo, Norimichi Shamida and his friends Yusuke, Miura, and Junichi live while they pretty much harass their teacher, and um, where Norimichi pretty much fawns over this beautiful girl named Nazuna Oikawa. She's actually going to move to a new town with her family. Yusuke, in particular, wants to confess to Nazuna, and after an argument at school, the boys make a bet regarding whether or not fireworks at the upcoming festival would look round or flat when watched from the side. That is a big theme of the movie. Nazuna, on the day she's supposed to leave, picks up a small, strange looking glass marble she finds by the sea, and after school, she encounters Norimichi and Yusuke, who happen to be on pool cleaning duty that day. She challenges them to a swimming race, and she pretty much proposes that the winner has to follow whatever she says. So Yusuke wins, and she asks him to go together to the festival to see the fireworks. Returning home, Nazuna is shown to be struggling with the idea of moving away, and doesn't seem to get along particularly well with her mom and stepfather. Uh, Especially her stepfather, actually. Nazuna then changes into yukata and leaves with a suitcase to meet up with Yusuke. But Yusuke bails on his date, and she ends up meeting up with Norimichi at the nearby hospital, where she confesses that she had her mind set on asking the winner out on a date, but had hoped for the winner to be Norimichi. She then tells him that of her plans to run away from home, and they eventually find themselves uh, found by Nazna's mother, who pretty much forcefully grabs her and takes her home. And Nazna during this whole time is pleading to for Norimichi to save her. In the struggle, though, Nazna drops the mysterious glass marble, and Norimichi picks it up, and in this like fit of rage, um, throws it, causing time to seemingly jump backwards. Its fit of rage actually includes him fighting, or like, yeah, pretty much attacking Yusuke for standing up Nazuna, and then he throws the glass marble. So back in time when the swimming race took place, Norimichi wins this time around, and Nazuna asks him out and meets up with him. And now with the table stirred, Yusuke is jealous witnessing the couple. Norimichi and Nazuna get to a train station but are caught once again by Nazuna's mother and the stepfather. Um, Norimichi actually does try to help, but the stepfather punches Norimichi in the face. And they take Nazuna away. At night, Norimichi notices the fireworks are flat and becomes aware that he's in an alternate timeline. Again, he wishes for another chance to escape with Nazuna and throws a glass marble from a lighthouse and reverses time again to the encounter at the train station, but manages to pretty much elude Nazuna's parents by boarding the train together with her. Eventually, they're caught again by Nazuna's mother and Norimichi's friends. They pretty much, from the windows of the train, they see Nazuna and Norimichi. Yusuke's totally envious and charges at Norimichi at atop of this the lighthouse where pretty much Norimichi and Nazuna are, and it causes him and Nazuna to accidentally plummet to their death, pretty much to the sea. As they fall, though, Norimichi uses the glass marble one last time, wishing for no one to see Nazuna and him going away so they can spend one night alone together. Time jumps back again, and the train now takes a different route, leaving the couple at a beach. This time in a strange reality where the town is encapsulated in a like this glass dome, and objects appear distorted. Um, a drunk festival worker finds a glass ball, and I think it's like his uncle or something actually, and shoots it up in the sky, confusing it with a leftover firework charge. The firework freezes as it explodes and causes small crystals to fall, with each shard showing a possible future. As Norimichi and Nazuna see their alternate realities within these shards, they swim in the sea together and kiss. Nazuna wonders in what kind of world they are going to meet next. So, the last scene shows the teacher calling roll in class. When she gets to Norimichi's name, though, no one replies. So, before we get into my thoughts on the movie, I'd like to plug my author's website at www.chrismoldon.com, and you can read a new blog post on there every week. Also, do you like anime? Do you like action, adventure, fantasy, crazy characters, different worlds? Then buy my book, The Mustard Prince in the Condiment Kingdom, for just $4.99, what the price of like a burger at this time, via ebook on Amazon.com or on my author's website. Link to buy it will be provided on the page description. Please also subscribe and share this channel, as that would really help me out. So, some thoughts on the movie. Also, one thing that really hurts the movie right now, let's just start it off. The characters are not well defined. I mean, the characters, but in the same sense, it's this movie's kind of like really thought can be a bit thought provoking. Obviously, the whole idea of the fireworks being round or flat is the whole idea of perspective, and they keep going back in time and changing the perspective of pretty much the day. It's kind of like sliding doors meets Groundhog's Day, where it's like, if I just did one thing differently, how much would it change my life, pretty much? Groundhog's Day, in the sense that the day just keeps repeating itself over and over again. The time travel device in itself, when he throws it, it actually has this like light. It has the word "if" on it, because if the he always wishes, Norimichi always wishes, like, if this happens, then you know if I could go back, I would do this or something like that. And pretty much that's what the time travel device is. It's like an if. You're changing the perspective in a sense. And this whole movie is just about perspective, the world we live in and whatnot, and what it could be. And maybe that's why the characters are pretty nondescript. Now that I'm thinking like a little more thought provoking, putting more thought about it, maybe there's a reason why these characters are kind of nondescript in a sense. Maybe they're just more representative of an ideal. You know, Nazuna really is like the middle school ideal girl. You know, there's just something about her. She's a bit, she's beautiful to them, a bit mysterious, but once you get to know her, she's fun, um, adventurous, and whatnot. And she's kind of got this like adventurous yet innocent waif thing going on. Um, and as far as a character goes, you don't know much about her per se, what she likes, dislikes. She doesn't get along with her family very well, but maybe that's the point. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm just like kind of thinking about it right now as we speak. Same with Norimichi. Like Norimichi, I don't know much about the guy. He's just some guy. He rides his bike. He has friends. He's kind of short, and that's he likes Nazuna, and that's kind of it. If you want to look at what just the character of Norimichi, if you want to know what he like represents, he kind of just represents the typical like middle school kid. He just does his thing, bit of a free spirit, likes a girl, and kind of has this like romance that otherwise probably wouldn't happen, had it if you don't have the time travel device. Yusuke is jealousy. Yusuke is probably like the villain here, because it really is a case of like, you know what Yusuke like. The thing is, Yusuke won the bet. He had a chance to go out with Nazuna, and we know in that timeline that he would just stand her up. So in the, like subsequent timelines, he's all angry at Norimichi for getting together with Nazuna when you know that he would have just stood her up anyway. So it makes him more of the villain, but it's just kind of relatable, like he really is just like he kind of just represents like some of the more negative feelings that like complicated feelings that like high school or like middle school kids are kind of going through. Like maybe they're like the Norimichi and Yusuke kind of. Maybe they'll represent like a form. Maybe even if you add Nazuna in there, and they could just be adolescents. Maybe that's what they combined are about. Like if you look at them just by themselves as their characters, there's nothing there. There's really not much there. You don't know much about these characters. When you see their actions, though, you kind of get an idea of what they're about. And, you know, looking at it just more deeply, maybe the characters just represent the ideal than anything else. Yusuke would be probably something of like adolescent confusion, where it is like, oh, hey, I got the girl. I don't know what to do with the girl. I'll hang out with my bros, and it's just this weird confusion. Okay, I ditched a girl in this timeline. And then in another timeline, it's like, oh my god, I hate my friend for going out with the girl, And he just kind of represents this, like, dichotomy of just, like, well, I don't know if it's a dichotomy. I think the two are Norimichi and Yusuke kind of represent a dichotomy in that sense, where like Norimichi is kind of more in the background, but he can't. He's the type of guy that can be brave if when the situation arises, whereas Yusuke acts brave, but when the situation actually arises, he's not brave. You know. So they those two are pretty much like a yin and yang going on here. Whereas and Nazuna is kind of like somewhere in the middle, where it's like she is kind of brave in the sense that she's willing to just run away when when she's actually faced with the authority of like her mother or stepfather. I mean, she doesn't have much power, and I think she kind of realizes just how little power she has in the face of her parents. Her parents aren't great characters. Her mom seems loving. Nazo's stepfather, though, that guy's a punk. The dude punches Norimichi in the face. You know, I mean, not cool. Not a cool guy. You know, but yeah. Oh, that definitely now that I'm thinking about it, wow, that actually makes me like the characters a lot more if I think about it and what the characters represent more than looking at the characters as is. That's really interesting to me. Sorry, I just figured it out right here, like as I'm speaking. So that's pretty cool. There's a traveling device. Like I don't really like the idea that it just kind of falls in Nazuna's lap, like almost literally falls in her lap. But it's a necessary device to to explain or to get to the story really. Once again, it's a bit lazy in my opinion that like it just falls in her lap though, hey, I'm in the ocean, the beach. Hey, a time traveling device has just appeared. Like come on, like I mean, if you ever watch Groundhog's Day though, like I remember I was asking my friend, it's like, in a sense, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it just fell on her feet, more or less. It just kind of appeared there, in the water, like below Nazna, and it's just kind of like, when you think of Groundhog's Day, it's kind of like the day just keeps repeating itself until, like, Bill Murray's character changes himself for the better, and then he finds love and whatnot, and the day stops repeating itself. And it's kind of like, in a sense, though, it's like, doesn't matter that the day repeats itself and you're never explained why. In that movie, no, really, it's just something that kind of happens, and maybe in that sense, a time travel device, like maybe it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where it came from. Doesn't matter what it's doing there. How it found itself at the beach, at that beach. You know, it ended up doing what it needed to do. The big theme of this movie, though, is perspective. Are fireworks round or flat? That is like the whole thing with the movie. In a sense, it's kind of boring. When you keep hearing it, it's like, maybe as an adult, though, it sounds a bit boring. It's just kind of like, oh, fireworks round or flat? Oh my god, let's find out. Let's make a bet about it. And it's like, ugh, and you keep hearing it in each timeline, are they round or flat? And in a different timeline, they are round. In a different timeline, they're flat. And it's like, but in the same sense, you gotta look at like the characters. They're all middle school kids. Like things like that kind of matter to them. You know, they're not deep, like in a sense. Like and maybe that's the thing with perspective, where it's like they only see things from the outside. You know, Nazna. They only see Nazna as like kind of the ideal. She kind of acts like the ideal woman though. Throughout the whole movie, she kind of acts like this total ideal that they just kind of imagined her to be. She kind of is. And I don't know if I really like that or not, Like I said, adventurous, somewhat innocent, waifish character, And but there really is like this, like, I mean, they're middle school kids. There really is this like real surface level thinking. It's perspective. Their perspective really is on the, I would say, more of just like the macro, like the bigger thing, are these big things round or flat? They don't actually want to look into it per se. They just kind of want to get the answer in an easy way. They don't want to really look into things. I think that was the thing with Norimichi, with like kind of going back in time, though. It's kind of like he kind of wanted to know, if this happened, how can I change it? You know what I mean? So he was kind of looking more in, his perspective was kind of going in until he reaches like a glass dome where he went in, like he's now inside a glass, like the world of this glass dome where he's with the girl because he was the one that was more willing to look on a more like micro level, whereas like everyone else is just kind of looking at a macro level. Yusuke, just totally like, oh my god, my buddy's going out with the girl, rah, and it's just he's not really thinking, but they're middle school kids, so that's the thing. So in the sense of what Norimichi kind of wants to see if I change this, what happens? If I change that, what happens? And it actually becomes reality too. So, and it's Noramichi in that sense, the yin and yang thing. It's just kind of like he's more willing to look deeper into things. Yusuke's not. Nazuna's kind of in the middle. It's like, oh hey, what are you gonna do when you're by yourself? Oh hey, I'll work in a bar. I'll do this. I'll do that. It's like, okay, like trying a little to kind of look deeper into what she's doing. You know what I mean? So that's pretty cool too. Well, this is just like middle school romance. You kind of have to look at it in the perspective of a middle school kid. You know, it's they're just kids. They're kind of acting upon what little they know. The stuff that interests them, fireworks round or flat. That's what they're interested in. Not gonna be talking about like world politics or something like that. They're gonna talk about like, hey, there's a fireworks festival. Hey, cool. Like, are the fireworks round or flat when they explode? I don't know. I don't know. Let's find out. That's cool. That's it. I mean, that's really as far as it goes. Oh, Nazuna's hot. I like her. I'm gonna confess her. I mean, that's kind of it. But you gotta look at it from like the middle school perspective, and this whole movie's about perspective. You know, like, and in that sense, you're either going to like it or not because it is a bit. There is some bit of like it's kind of slow paced. It's not very like there's not a lot of action or anything like that. The animation's really good. That's why it's really hard to recommend because it really is a case of like, okay, it's kind of slower paced, and if unless you're willing to kind of as a movie by itself, if you're just kind of looking perspective, once again, if you're just looking at like on how things happen, yeah, some of it's actually a bit absurd. There's a bit of absurdity where there's kind of going back in time from this device that you don't know where it came from. There's this like middle school romance that's happening and whatnot, and you don't actually know where this whole thing is headed. And in that sense, it's a bit in that perspective. Sorry, I'm gonna overuse that word. You don't really know where this is going. You know. And because of that, you may or may not like that. It's I would relate it to more like some like French films that are a little more thought provoking that have like more open ended like endings, and you kind of have to draw your own conclusions in a sense. If you're into something like that, I mean, this movie I don't think it's not outwardly thought provoking. Actually, if you look at it, it's just a bunch of middle school kids. This dude likes this girl and will do anything to like to hang out with her for one night, and then you have like this jealous buddy of his and these angry parents, and that's kind of it on the surface. If you look deeper, there is a deeper narrative to it, so that's why I'm giving it a B minus. Like I said, it it it's it's just kind of like how you see it. Like the characters aren't well defined. You don't really know where it's going, and in a sense, maybe that's the point, or maybe there is a deeper thing here. Maybe everyone kind of represents something. You kind of have to look at things from a middle school point of view. You're not gonna necessarily have deep characters here. They're just a bunch of middle school kids. They don't seem that troubled, except for Nazuna. Like they just kind of live their lives. You can't have depth with characters that are only like 11 or 12 per se, if their lives are just like kind of normal lives. There's not much there. The reviews too are kind of mixed. I've read some good reviews, some really bad reviews. I think Rotten Tomatoes kind of gave it like 5 out of 10 or something like that, or 50% or whatever it is. So it's really tough to recommend. I enjoyed it enough, and thinking harder about it, I think it was a lot more thought provoking than actually when I came out of it and as I was watching it. So I got to actually think about it. I think there was a little more to the movie than meets the eye. On the outside, like the movie itself doesn't have much if you're not willing to like think a little more about it. So that's all for today. If you like this, don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment to this channel. Thank you for listening to this movie review. Next time I will have a manga review for Skip Beat Volumes 25 and 26, a book review for A Hero Born, Legends of the Condor Heroes 1, and a movie review for Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. Thank you, and until next time.